Hello students, welcome back. So today I am just going to talk about a very important concept, Stephen Hawking, and that too from the Stephen Hawking lesson I am going to talk about the 8 life lessons which is called the success formula of Stephen Hawking. Basically, we all know that Stephen Hawking was diagnosed with a motor disease where he was totally struck, isn't it? So when he was told by the doctors that he is going to live only for a few years, he didn't believe that. He, with his confidence, overcame that particular problem and he lived for more than 75 years. Therefore, he taught us a formula which is very important for all the human beings. Why I have chosen this particular part of this lesson is, when you write an answer to this question, I request all the learners to attempt these 8 life lessons as bulleted points in your answer, as side headings. Underline each life lesson and talk about that, which helps you to score good marks. I'll try my level best to give you a brief explanation on each of the lessons that Stephen Hawking taught us. The first lesson that Stephen Hawking taught us is he has used technology to overcome his disability. Such a wonderful lesson. As Stephen Hawking explained the power of technology to transform lives. Well, when he was diagnosed with the disease, he didn't have any chance to speak or to walk or to do his regular work. So he used the power of technology to transform his life. He wanted to communicate his ideas, which led to great discoveries, and it is really astounding. In his own case, when Stephen Hawking was not able to speak and use a voice synthesizer, he took a voice synthesizer and he made extensive use of computer technology and the internet in his research. So I would say using technology helped Stephen Hawking to overcome disability. Let's have a look at the second life lesson of Stephen Hawking. It is, he refused to let his disability halt his research. Of course, yes, when some disability happens in our life, what normally we think is we stop doing things or works because we think that this ability will stop us doing things. But Stephen Hawking gave an advice to all the disabled people to concentrate on things where disability is not a criteria to block your success at all. So he says that never regret for the things which is interfering us. So he also requested all the people not to be disabled in spirit. So just after he had been diagnosed and he was told by the doctors that he is going to live only for a few years, he fell in love with Jane Wilde and he got married. There he had 3 children. During the same period, he also did his research as a physicist. Therefore, we can easily tell that disability did not halt him to do anything. This is a very wonderful lesson. Let's take a look at the third life lesson. He was always curious. He says that he is always curious to talk about things, and he had a very childlike curiosity where he used to always ask questions with why, how and every other things. So he always wanted to find out what's happening around him and he wanted to work on them, and he is very much curious. Such a wonderful lesson where he also wanted all the people to be curious to learn new things. The fourth life lesson is he never lost his sense of humor, which is a very important flavor for every human life. He always joked about his zany appearances and he laughed, he enjoyed his life, and he really worked with humor in whatever he did. And the next important principle is he stood by his principles. And during his lifetime, Stephen Hawking had been very much concerned about the lack of funding. For example, when he wanted to do some research, he never got enough funding for his research and also for his education while he was studying in the UK. So when he was offered a knighthood, he turned it down on principle. He rejected the offer of knighthood. So he stood by his principles. And the sixth life lesson is he never gave up. This lesson really talks about Stephen Hawking's confident and persistent nature. Because when he was talking about the nature of black holes, which had puzzled scientists since the early 20th century, he is very much determined and he didn't give up in spite of criticism and controversy. Many people criticized Stephen Hawking's black holes theory because some scholars say that nothing can escape from black holes, but Stephen Hawking worked against this principle. So he came across many criticism and many controversies, but still he never gave up and nothing stopped him, and it is really an inspiration for everyone who is striving to have success. The next lesson that really inspires us is he valued time as a precious resource. Of course, time is a very, very precious resource. Even we know that. He says that we can make money but can never make time. So we should have used it wisely. So Stephen Hawking was very much famous for his research, isn't it? He concluded his study on time by remarking it would be impossible to turn back the clock. That's true. When we want to do something, we have to do in the stipulated time, because something which we can never get back is time. So he always valued time as a very, very precious resource. And the last life lesson of Stephen Hawking is he shared his knowledge. This is a very, very wonderful lesson that Stephen Hawking tried to talk to people, and he firmly believed that knowledge has to be shared, because his ambition was that his books would be widely read and they would be available at airport bookstalls also. That wish had certainly come true, as witnessed by the enormous success of his books. So he wanted to share knowledge and he wanted to make sure that his knowledge is shared everywhere and people are very well benefited by that knowledge. So these are the 8 life lessons that Stephen Hawking taught people, and these are the 8 life lessons that one can learn from Stephen Hawking's life. So, when you are writing your answer, I request you to put an introduction with a few statements talking about Stephen Hawking's birth, his education, his career, his marital life. And when you're talking about the second half of your answer, that is the body of your answer, you can talk about Stephen Hawking's theories like black hole theory and other things. And when you are concluding the answer, you can give a side heading called the 8 life lessons of Stephen Hawking, and you can put this one by one and you can share these, or you can talk about this, or you can simply put them as bulleted points. Hope you liked this video and you understood this video. If yes, just click on a like symbol and just comment in the comment section. If you want me to tell these lessons in Telugu or in your own mother tongue, I'll just try to give you a solution by talking about these lessons, which will really help you to get good marks for this Stephen Hawking question. Thank you so much.